Today's reading is from Cheonsong-gyeong, Book 12, Chapter 4, Section 3, 25, A Life of Gratitude. Our ultimate goal is to create Choinguk and attendance of God. The first thing we have to do for this goal is to examine ourselves. According to Father, Choinguk is established when two people become one. Therefore, in our life of faith, the most important thing is to live in a place of 100% unity between mind and body. What do we have to do to live in such a place? Begin with what I have said. Before you criticize things that are wrong, you should say these things with a pure and sincere heart. I offer thanks to heaven. If you can stand on the foundation of oneness on the individual and family levels, at church, in your tribe, in your country, and the world, then the unified world centered on God will be realized naturally. If you live with this mindset, heaven will always be with you in everything you do, and blessing will pour down upon you. Aju.
Good morning. How are you doing today? Fine. Yes. Is it sound okay, or my throat not okay, or something sound not okay? Okay. Yesterday we went for a hike. How many of you were in the hike? Maybe, I think at least, only one? And me? Okay, that was really beautiful. Our youth ministry organized a hike, and then I went there with my whole family. Then I was walking with my youngest daughter, Teresa. She was so slow. So we made only probably up to 1/3 of the, maybe 1/3 or less, or I don't know exactly. Then she was keep telling, I'm tired. I need water. And then she finished 3 bottles we had. Then walking down, we were talking always about food. Then she didn't really think so much about tiredness. Then talk about how to make lasagna. Then she was telling me, I need this cheese and that cheese. And then she was so excited. And so that was this morning I was talking to someone about lasagna. Then I said, why you are talking about? And, I think maybe from yesterday it's in me. That's why just talking about that. And I think me and Teresa, we always talk about food. To keep her active, maybe I'm getting more excited with that. Anyway, nice. Once again, good morning. And next week is my transition ceremony. So this is the last sermon I'm going to give as the pastor. And I was preparing for this sermon for many years. Ever since I became pastor, I know that one day I'm going to step down. So I kind of always, many, many times, this is what I'm going to say in my last sermon. And so you're going to get a sermon which is prepared for a long time. Then last week I sat down to write down the sermon. Then for some reason, I can't remember anything I wanted to say. I said, I thought it was going to be easy and I don't even need to write down. But I couldn't write down. When I said, what was I thought? I thought I was going to give a great sermon. I remember everything, how happy I was, but somehow I couldn't remember any of that. Then it was so hard to write down. And anyway, I still have something. But, seeing all of you makes me really happy. And I remember when I see all of you, I have some stories with everyone, even though sometimes we don't even talk much with some of you. Maybe we don't get any time to talk, but still, you all give me really amazing inspirations. And a lot of you really gave me good advice, suggestions for my family, how to raise my children, and I can never forget those things. That's the way I'm trying to raise my children, trying to try to lead the community. And especially in our community, we have all of you amazingly experience. Dr. Ang, none of us have your experience. You advised, you gave me many suggestions, and many times when I talk to and listen to Dr. Ang, more than I talk, I listen to Dr. Ang. That's what I felt. It's amazing to listen to him. It's always wonderful suggestions. And sometimes people think, only young people have innovative ideas. But Dr. Ang is amazingly, he always, almost all the things he tell me how do you do a SWOT analysis, and how do you analyze the community and all those things. Some of that I couldn't do, but I'm so grateful that I could learn those things. And many, many wonderful things. I just wanted to say the whole sermon, I just want to say thank you to all of you. And maybe difficult to say one by one, but I truly enjoyed being part of this community. Within few months, I'm going to be almost like 9 years working in this community. I started working here in February 2011. I still remember the first day I came into this church, came through the front door and walked in. Then I remember Eriko-san was behind the table. She usually standing, still she's there. That was the first day in this church. And also I thankfully remember Pastor George Kasakis, who hired me. And sometimes I wonder why he hired me. I couldn't even explain anything, or somehow, I don't know. He was so good to me. And also Dr. Ann, and also all of the staff we had. We always felt we are one family, and we could, as staff, we had, when I was there, I hired Raymond one time, and then after a couple of years, he went on to other things, and many times I was able to really work with amazingly wonderful people. Our staff team now, I am always eternally grateful to them. Anytime I need things, they are able to do. Like Eriko-san is here, working here for many years. More than any of us, she works. She does so many things. And everyone, like Pastor Joe, Soin, and Che, and Reverend Pobans worked here. And we had Oliver Knoll, so many wonderful people, Yasutaka Osawa, who just moved on to headquarters, and all of you, choir, anytime I could ask, and most of the time, just almost all the time, willing to do things. Many times I'm reluctant to ask, because all the time, everyone say yes. That's why most of my even text, I send them, please don't feel bad to say no. Only if you can do, please do this. And sometimes when I ask, even with your bad schedule, even if you have to work in the night, still say, okay, I can come in the evening and do this. Many times I feel sorry for asking like that, but that's why I say, if you cannot, please don't do it, don't worry. Please feel free to say no to me. I'm okay about that. And also, I worked with, I think, 2 or 3 council, and I really enjoyed working with the council. There were times we discussed things very passionately, and not always just in agreement, but we always, even after that, we had agreement in our love and care towards each other. And in that way, they helped me a lot. They supported me a lot. And then many times, you all guided me a lot. And I also had experience working with our provincial organizations, ACLC, UPF, Women's Federation. Reverend Nelson is here. And it was always wonderful experience working with all of you. It's not just because we all cheered up everything, but because I feel because of genuinity, because of the support towards the cause we all believe in, because our trust and faith in God, because we all are convinced that we can make a difference in this world, and we are, in our own ways, we are committed to that. And that was the biggest beauty I felt. And also, more than being a pastor, more than being a staff member of this local church, I felt be really proud of in this community, being able to be part of this community. That's what I cherished more than that. When I remember one time my mother, after, I think it was during her first visit here, she asked me, she was telling me that, oh, your true parents must be gods. Then I think she was equating true parents with Jesus. Maybe that's why, in Christianity, many times people equate Jesus and God same. And then my mother told me, otherwise, they must be gods. Otherwise, how they can have this many good people in one place? And because when she stayed here for a while, she felt like we all are amazingly good people. Then she said, why your church is not big like this in India? You should make like that. And then, anyway, I couldn't say much about why we don't have our church as a big church in India, but I felt she kind of really, the way she got inspired about true parents more than anything was the way she could experience the love and care from people, from all of you. And for us, I feel like, if anything good in our community, if anything good, for God and true parents, the biggest monuments are not the buildings we have. In America, we have big buildings like New Yorker Hotel. It's one of our movement's asset, and it's a big landmark. But more than anything, the biggest thing we can become the monuments for true parents are the living monuments. I feel like all of you, all of us are like that. All of us can become like that. And that's the way we really, really glorify God in our life. We really glorify true parents in our life by embodying the things they taught us in our life. We become living monuments, walking monuments, where when people see us, yes, this is what principle is. This is what God's people are. That's what I feel in our community. And me and my family truly enjoyed living here. Many times we felt, all the time from the beginning, we felt welcomed here in our community. We came here 9 years ago. The only people I knew before, personally I met, was Reverend John Gering and Reverend Carol Pobans. We knew each other through some international projects our church was doing. And we used to see each other in Korea. And also Dr. Bibi, I know him by name. And he came to India, but I wasn't there exactly that time. So I never met him, but I know them by name. More than that, I didn't know any of that, any of you. But when I came here, I truly felt welcomed by all of you. And I still remember the first time, the first family we visited was Ben's family. My kids were so happy, excited. And my kids thought Yoko-san's name is my Yoko. And they were jumping in the, you had jumping thing in the backyard. My kids were so happy in that. Anyway, even now, I feel still fully part of this community. Only one regret I have, I couldn't visit all of you. Somehow I couldn't make that, even though I had this many years. But almost all the time, your faces are in my heart, our heart. In our family, we talk about and pray about for you. And I want to have that always in my life. I feel this last 9 years, especially in the, almost 9 years, 8 years and almost 8 months. It was one of the best period of my life. I developed myself a lot. Before that, in India, I used to give sermons like once in a while, but it was always just simple divine principle lectures. I didn't understand what is giving a sermon. I remember the beginning years, every Wednesday we had Mr. Thibault and many of us joined together. I was able to practice my sermons, and a lot of you, like Mr. Thibault, you helped me a lot. And Reverend Onishi helped me a lot. He would give very good critique on my sermons. And it all helped me a lot. And also many times, anything I learned from all of you. That helped me to raise my children. And that was always a learning points for me. And that way I feel like I could be a better person during this period. I grew a lot, and sometimes Rani tell me that my worry is that if you are not pastor, you become bad boy or something like that. No, I don't think I'll be bad. Yes. So I enjoyed being with all of you, and I'm looking forward to enjoy again continuously. And also I believe even the better times are coming for all of us, and for me personally, as my family, and for the community also. Future is going to be better, and if we believe, we can make that. And as I am finishing my time here, I want to finish. I'm really happily finishing without any regrets, and any decision or every decision I made during this last years in my time as the pastor, and even before, I tried to make the best decision, and based on the circumstances and everything, I believe I took the best decisions. And I do not have anything I deeply regret, like, I wish I couldn't do that. And because most of the time, I think about a lot, and I discuss with different people, and many of you helped me in making decisions. And council helped me making decisions about our church, about our community. And I believe maybe that's why I don't have many regrets about the way we run our community this recent years. And as this reading we read this morning, I happened to read that a week ago. Then after that, I read that many times. I felt this is what I want to be as I am stepping down from this position as the pastor. I want to keep that attitude in my life. Today's reading is from Chonsung Gyeong. It is from book 12, which is about Chonil Guk. And this particular speech is given by True Mother. And True Mother is talking about a life of gratitude. Let me read that a little bit. Our ultimate goal is to create Chonil Guk in attendance to God. We believe Chonil Guk, a heavenly kingdom, a place where two people can want to become one in unity, in love. That's what we are trying to create. That's what our heavenly parents created from the beginning, and we are trying to recreate that. And here our True Mother is saying that when you do that, create that in attendance to God. What does that mean? Yesterday after this hiking trip, we came back home and watched a historical movie from India together with my family. It was a story happened in, maybe perhaps, I think it's a true story. Usually in movies, they dramatize things, but it's based on a true thing happened in 13th century in India. There was two countries fighting one country is trying to protect themselves from Mongol invaders. And this small little country, they are actually fierce warriors, but they are small. They have certain ethics they believe. Even as warriors, they have ethics. Like, for example, some of them are like, if you're fighting with your enemy, then enemy lost their weapon. You stop fighting. You cannot kill that enemy when the enemy doesn't have their weapon anymore. And also, if the enemy is sick, you find him somewhere in a very pathetic situation and you could easily kill because he is wounded and he is sick. But according to this people's ethics, no, I can't do that because he's a helpless person now. He is a bad person, he is my enemy, but I cannot kill him because that's not the ethics I'm supposed to live. And again, another thing in India, people believe that any guest coming to your home is God. You should treat, not that he's God, but you should treat them like God. You should welcome them, you should treat them, you should feed them. That's an ethics you have to have. But between this fight between these invaders and this little kingdom trying to survive them, there is a lot of things happening in this movie. As we are watching this movie, we are our blood is getting boiled that, why these people, invaders, they are so bad. Don't they know that? Don't these people know that these bad people coming and they are going to invade and kill them? And one of their great goal is to take away the ladies from this small little country. And then we are talking, don't they know these people are coming as bad people? Why did they open their house? Why they didn't kill him when they found him as a weak person? And there is one particular instance in the movie. This enemy invader king, he lost his weapon. Then this small little country's king saying that, okay, you can leave now because you don't have your weapon. Then we are saying, why can't they kill him? We are kind of screaming while we are watching the movie. I said, kill him like that. But this person saying that, no, this is not the ethics I believe. This is not the way I raised up. This is not the things I want to leave behind. That's why I cannot kill you. I will fight with you when you have your weapon again. But at the end, this righteous person killed by other guys without proper ways, he was hit from the back when he did not have his weapon in his hand. But why? Then we start into a discussion about the principles, and then we started saying that, yeah, this is the way God created. And what our true mother telling us that you cannot build Chonal Gurk by killing off people, by removing bad people from this world. By violence, you cannot kill. You have to build Chonal Gurk in attendance with God. What does that mean? God has to be with you. You should be working together with God. God should feel proud that I'm working with my righteous son. And I'm okay to work with him because he is someone who believes in the things I established. and he is a trustworthy person, he is okay person, he is a good person, he is a moral person. And that's the way we should be working for in establishing heavenly kingdom. We cannot choose violence, or we cannot choose anything unprincipled in order to create a principled kingdom, a principled place, a place where people should be living centered on love. Are you following me? I'm saying many stories then. And also, it's True Mother is telling, in creating Chonalgurg, the first thing you have to think, the first thing we all have to think is to examine ourselves. Think about me. Analyze myself. How am I doing? Am I okay to stand side by side with God? Can I work with God? Am I ready for that? Or at least, am I challenging myself every day to become in that kind of standard? And then, again, True Mother continues, according to True Father, Chonalgurg is established when two people become one. Therefore, in our life of faith, the most important thing is to live in a place of 100 unity between mind and body. That's, we should become a person who God can work with. And what do we have to do to live in such a place? Begin with what I have said. Before you criticize things that are wrong, you should say these words with a pure and sincere heart. I offer thanks to heaven. Here, true parents are not saying you shouldn't criticize anything. You shouldn't analyze anything, or you should not do this. But true parents are saying that before you criticize things, you should be thinking, am I centered on God? I should offer thanks to God, thanks to heaven, before I criticize about something or before I complain. That means our life should be centered on God. Our life should be centered on God's principles before we find something unpleasant out of us. And again, if we can stand on a foundation of oneness on the individual and familial level, at church, in your tribe, in your country, and the world, then the unified world centered on God will be realized naturally. If we can have that kind of oneness with God, then that kind of oneness in our family, within our family relationship between husband and wife, it can be expanded to our community, our church community, our tribe, and beyond that, in every level, that will be possible when we are able to have that oneness within ourselves. And then, a unified world centered on God will come naturally. So the very thing we need to focus is myself. yourself, the individual level, and within our family level, then the expansion comes naturally. And that's why it is saying that, True Mother saying that, be grateful before you do anything, before you give a suggestion to another person. Find things you can be grateful to other people. You can be grateful to people around us and towards God. Then things will naturally happen. And naturally that same spirit will get expanded around you. You know, in our lives, it's so easy to remember things which are negative, which were not so pleasant in our life. Very easily it comes to our mind. Oh, he did that to me, she did that to me, and I'm so angry because I deserve better. They should have treated me better. And all these kind of things easily happens. And many times, those are the things always come to us. But what we should really think about, we should really remember, we should really focus about our life to be a happy person, a healthy person, a person who God can trust us. We should really focusing on the things which really good things happen to our life, from our immediate community, from within our family, from our spouse. Then God can continuously work with us. You know, today is my last sermon as the pastor. And of course, tonight I'm going to give a Sungwa message also. You know, it was a little funny. You know, I'm always reluctant to do Sungwa messages, but this time when, Eriko-san, as I was going to see Mrs. Odeyama, she said, "Oh, that's so good, she passed away now." I said, "Why?" Then she said, "She really wanted you to give the Sungwa message." She was, then I feel better. Anyway, as this is my last week as the pastor, I really want to remember the good experiences I had, I still have in this community. I don't want to dig out things, maybe some unpleasant things, and then I don't want to do that. I don't want to have that. To me, the biggest thing, or maybe the sweetest thing, is the relationships we had. The sweet relationships we had, the sweet memories we had. That's what I want to remember all the time. You know, many times when we think about future or thinking about stepping down from a position, it's also even in sometimes future we don't know what. And then we kind of reluctant to move on to that. But I believe, you know, with faith in God, things will be totally good, and things are going to be good. And as I move on, I want to go ahead with that grateful and happy heart. I believe that's why God showed me this passage last week. And I just happened to read that. I felt, wow, this is something really great. This is the way I want to be. And I thought maybe for all of you, you know, actually every sermon I gave this last 6+ years, it was towards me too. It was not something I'm just telling to a crowd that, oh, you should do this, you should do this. No, it was always to me also, for my family. And I felt everything I go through, everything you go through, in a way, very, very similar. And today is also, we both can. As I move on to something different, the one thing I want to ask you, please pray for me so that I can be always grateful. So I'll be able to have that happiness in my life, the happiness from the relationships we had here, and that I want to remember. Please pray that I won't fall into a negative spirit. It may be funny, as a pastor, I'm asking for that. But, I truly believe we all need to be supporting each other, to be positive, that is the way, that's the only way we can truly establish a heavenly kingdom. We can truly go towards something higher and higher level, something better and better. And, about everything, most of my things happening in my life, I always talk to my mother about that. And then many times my mother would say, don't be afraid of anything. So far, everything happened in your life is good. And so believe in that, everything will be good. We guarantee that things, you guarantee by believing that things will be good. And that way I believe the community, we believe in that positivity of the community. We believe in that good relationship we have in our communities. And then if something unpleasant, try to minimize the unpleasant things and then try to increase our positivity. In that way, we can make our life better and better. That's what our True Mother reminding us. I think True Mother was even quoting True Father's words. And True Mother concluded like this: if you live with this mindset, heaven will be with you. Heaven will always be with you in everything you do, and blessings will pour down upon you. That's why I want to encourage all of you, encourage myself, that let us keep always a good attitude, a grateful heart. And the topic this reading, the headline of this reading is a life of gratitude. And let us try to lead a life with gratitude in our life, with people around us, people in our immediate life, with our wife, with our husband, with our children. Think about amazing things. Think about when we wake up in the morning, say thanks to God. Say thanks to God that we have a person. Sometimes we may have difficult, challenging relationship with people in our life, but think about the positive things and say thanks to God. God, I'm grateful to you for what I have in my life, for what you have given to me in my life. I'm grateful to you, God. And again, let's say thanks to God that we have such a wonderful community. I'm always grateful to that. This is the community I first time I felt kind of really strongly that, oh, this is so great. When I came here first time with my children, I felt, wow, this is where I want to raise my children. Let's be grateful to God. Let's show our gratitude to God and true parents, and for every one of you who invested in this community, who built this community, who created this community. Let's be grateful towards each other. And then again, with that gratitude, we can go ahead and make that happen, make our life a wonderful life. And once again, I really want to thank all of you, our church community, brothers and sisters, our staff, our council, our church choir, band, and every volunteers, every brother and sister. I'm sorry that I can't call you one by one and thank you. And I believe in this coming weeks and months and years I have, every time I get time, I want to express that. And also in any case, I hurt your feelings somewhere. And of course, many times I might have said no to your ideas and things like that. Sorry for that. I tried my best, whatever I can do the best. And let us continue by keeping our relationships the best way we can possible. And through that, we are truly showing and expressing our gratitude to heaven and gratitude to our beloved true parents, to our Lord Jesus Christ. Let's truly lead a life with gratitude at the center. And we can become prosperous, we can become happier, and we can create a happy and wonderful community with that kind of life. And thank you so much for all the support you have given to me. And I know you will in future too. I can count for all of you. Thank you so much. God bless you.